In Gameboy Deals Left in Japan, we'll try and find out if there are any more good deals for Game Boys and Game Boy games. The quick answer is no and yes. Confusing? Well, come along and see what I mean for yourself. Hi there, refurbers and scruffy-looking nerferders. It's me, scruffy-looking RGB. Today we'll be exploring two very different locations in two very different areas to see where we can find the best deals on Game Boy games and handhelds. So come along for the ride. Without further ado, let's get scruffy looking. Here we are in the mecca of video games, in the heart of Tokyo, the place we all know and love, Akihabara. You can find pretty much any retro game related handheld here. So you may be thinking, I'm bound to find some good deals on Game Boy games and handhelds here, so let's take a quick look into Super Potato and see if we can find some, shall we? Akihabara prices have gotten out of hand, especially at Super Potato. Just look at these prices. A Play It Loud black DMG is going for over 30,000 yen. Just insanity. Of course, you have these limited edition Game Boys too, the Game Boy Color Pikachu edition, and this golden GBA for over 100,000 yen. I've never seen this version before, and there are these two common GBAs, Indigo and Silver, for over 20,000 yen apiece. We even have more expensive Game Boys with the SPs over here, just over 30,000 yen, and prices here in Super Potato are just bananas. Now we get into the Pokemon games. Just not long ago, these weren't even considered behind the glass items. Most could be bought for under 1,000 yen, and now you can't even pick up Pokemon Yellow for less than 4,000 yen. These are some of the most produced games for the Game Boy, and to see them going for this price is just crazy. It does mention the battery has been changed out for your future game-saving pleasure, but still, these prices are way too steep in my opinion. Red can't even be bought for less than 3,000 yen. And it's loose even. Zelda Yume o Mirushima DX is going for 4,000 yen. As we move up in the case, we get to the more rare games, and those prices also have gone up and up. Painter Momopi is a very expensive, and Senken Densetsu is not as reasonable as it once used to be. I think most of these games in here have quadrupled in price over the last 8 months or so. I don't know about you, but this Wozu game is highly overpriced at 12,900 yen. It's just ridiculous. I've come across it quite a few times at a fraction of the price. It just makes me wonder which famous YouTuber did a video on this one. Middle Jesus? This Pitan game with the chicken on it, it's almost doubled in price from what it used to be, in this very same display case. Okay, I don't know about you, but I've had enough of these prices. Let's take a trip outside of Tokyo to see if we can find some more reasonable prices on these Game Boy games and handhelds. So let's get scruffy looking. If you noticed, we're headed out towards Chiba Prefecture, just east of Tokyo, in search of better deals. This is Chiba Kanteidan Funabashi. It's the first time for me to visit this location, but just look at the size of this place. I like it already. Let's take a closer look at some of the titles they have on the wall over here. Now this is more like it. These prices are so much more reasonable than Super Potato. I did find this lone DMG for about 8,000 yen, which is a far better price than the one we saw in Super Potato for 30,000 yen. Just craziness. Takes about an hour to get out here. Definitely worth the trip. Got Zelda Densetsu, way cheaper from the Super Potato price, only 780 yen. I think it was like over 4,000 yen at Super Potato. That is a great deal. And some more Pokemon Yellow here on the shelf. Like I said, in Akihabara, this is like over 4,000 yen for this one too. Pokemon card game for the Game Boy. An interesting looking cover on this one. Cyborg something or other. Wario Land 3 and Wario Land 2. Super Chinese Fighter Game Boy. I've never seen this exact one. I've seen Super Chinese 2 and 3, I think, on the Game Boy, but this is the first time I've seen this one. Here's Game Boy Color Donkey Kong. The 6 golden coins for 780 yen is not a bad deal. Koro Koro Kirby under 500 yen. Can't go wrong with that. Here we got NBA All-Stars. This is very nostalgic for me. NBA All-Stars 2 to be exact. It has Clyde Drexler, Hakeem Olajuwon, and I think David Robinson. Some of my favorite old-time greats in the NBA. Might be worth grabbing this one today. Fishing games and Crayon Shinchan, Tamagotchi. Here's something pretty interesting I've never seen before. Ghostbusters 2 by HAL Laboratories. You know HAL is a name of quality. Makers of Kirby, Adventures of Lolo Land. 2,000 yen is more than I like to pay for a Game Boy game, but I know the Famicom version of this game is really good, so I might have to pick this one up. Sailor Moon R. This is an action platformer. It does have some Japanese text in it, but I think it's easy enough to play whether you speak Japanese or not. Next to it they have, I think, the first one. It's also about the same price and has similar gameplay to it from what I can tell. Nostalgic games there. This is kind of cool, this Doraemon. He's a famous Japanese anime character. And this is to study kanji. Looks like 1006 kanji. This might be good for Japanese learners. I might have to pick this up. This is kind of cool. Study Japanese on my Game Boy. Might be fun on the train. We also have Multiplication Master here. It's like a 3rd grade multiplication tables game with the Doraemon. 1,500 for that. More yellow Pokemon. Such a good deal after looking at Akihabara prices. Mini Yonkyu. This is a racing game. You can soup up your racer as you go. The Famicom game is also pretty good from what I've heard. Another racing game, Taito Chase HQ for the Game Boy. I want to say this goes for at least 1,000, 1,500 in Akihabara. Plenty of interesting games on the wall. Almost missed this Game Boy ranking best 20. So they've got the Game Boy games here ranked in the best 20. And a nice, clean Pokemon Red. It's really pristine. 1,280 yen. That is a really good deal considering it's 3,000 yen loose in Akihabara. I haven't seen a Pokemon game boxed go this cheap for a real long time. That might be worth grabbing. There's Pokemon Green for about 1,000 yen. It's the only one I think that didn't come out in the States, so it's kind of sought after. I think Green and Blue? Might be mistaken, but Green and Blue usually go for more. There's Gold and Silver. There's Zelda Densetsu there too, for about 980. Kirby 2 is a great game. Good follow-up to the first one. Dragon Quest. I remember these used to go for $1 even in Akihabara. Tetris. I wonder if there's a Minuet version in there somewhere. More yellows for Pokemon. 680 yen. That is a really good deal. Super Mario Land, about 780 yen for that. Kirby for less than 500 yen. That's great. This is interesting how this is ripped on the label and it's 1,500 more than this 480 yen one right here. Goes figure how they are pricing these. They just kind of sit on the shelf. You never know what the price is. Just keep digging through the shelves until you find a good price. Here's Pokemon Crystal, going for 1,280. It's a far cry from 6,500 that we saw it for at Super Potato. Definitely a great deal. I think 4,500 was the most I saw it for it before that, and that was way out in Saitama at some book off bazaar, so it's really hit and miss. A few games in the display case. Famicom games. Not so many Game Boy games, just one in here. Saint Oseiya game for about 5,000. Definitely a Japanese heavy RPG, but if you're a Saint Oseiya fan, it might be one to pick up. They have a few GBA games in here as well. We've got Initial D, Fire Emblem, Mother, and Metroid Fusion for about 3,500. Rockman XA for about 4,000. Rockman XA 3. And Metroid Fusion 3,400. That seems like a really good deal for that loose. Might be right about where it's supposed to be, but there's this cool little LCD Arale-chan game. And right below it, we've got the Coca-Cola Kid for the Game Gear. I've never come across it in the wild that I can remember. This is about 3,500. Doesn't seem like such a bad deal. Light Boy. It magnifies your screen on the Game Boy. They do have a couple Neo Geo Pockets for about 8,000, 9,000, and 10,000. I think these are all color here, and this Game Boy Micro about 14,000. So Game & Watches. Game Boy Color back there too. And I think this original Donkey Kong Game Boy Watch too. So, to answer the question, are there still deals left in Japan for Game Boy games and handhelds? I'd say yes, but only if you get your hiking shoes on and take yourself outside of the city. There will be lots of walking, but you can get quite a bit of savings. I'd say Akihabara is good if you just want a window shop, or if you really want something and are willing to pay big for it, then by all means, check out Akihabara. But this scruffy looking nerf herder will be hunting for deals outside of Akiba, that is for sure. Let me know what you would do down in the comments. Okay, now for my favorite part of the day. Let's get a cup of joe at good old Mr. Donuts and see what I brought home with me today, shall we? First off, I couldn't pass up on this very pristine boxed Pokemon Red game. It'll be a nice display item. For 1,200 yen, it's a give me for sure. You can't get a loose Pokemon game at Super Potato for less than 3,000 yen. So in a box for 1,200, this is one I couldn't let pass by. But wait, there's more. My second pickup is this very well loved and scruffy looking copy of Ghostbusters 2. I don't know that I've ever come across this one before, but I know the Famicom Ghostbusters 2 is a very good one. So this one piqued my interest. It might be a little high for the condition it's in, but I'm sure if I saw this in Akihabara, it would be at the very least double, if not triple this price. So I had to grab it. I've been playing my Game Boy Pocket quite a bit these days when commuting to and from work. If you want to check out my Game Boy Pocket modding video, it'll be waiting for you at the end screen or in the description below. I'm really loving this game so far. It's quick-paced, top-down shooter type game. You get to choose your two favorite Ghostbusters and go out and capture ghosts. First choice player zaps the ghost and your partner buster traps them. Lots of fun and challenging. It can be frustrating at times because your partner has to be with you while you walk around the obstacles. Sometimes he gets stuck behind a doorway or piece of furniture. Some of the angles can also be a little bit frustrating, but it's a lot of fun overall. I hope you all enjoyed this contrast of prices and locations in search of Game Boy games and handhelds today. Let me know if you're coming to Japan soon, and if this video was helpful for you. Big shout out to the scruffy looking RGB crew members. You guys are wonderful human beings. I really appreciate your support. If you enjoy these videos, and if you're interested in receiving exclusive member perks, and help out good old scruffy looking improve the quality of the channel, consider becoming a scruffy looking RGB crew member. Details are in the description below. If you can't join us, that's okay too. Much thanks goes out to everyone who watch, share, like, and come and hang out in the Premiere chat. Your support is much appreciated. Take care everyone, but above all, stay scruffy looking.
Who's scruffy looking?